What's up, Gram fam? I'm Dameon Runnels, and welcome to a special edition of GFN. We're going to call this the Runnels edition.
That's right.
All right. For those of you who do not know, this is my brother Tony Runnels. He graduated and played football at Prairie View, and of course, y'all know that I graduated and played football at Grambling. So when Grambling plays Prairie View, of course, with us, it's a pretty big deal.
It's a big deal.
It's a pretty big
deal. A house divided.
Yeah, you could say that. But Grambling, Prairie View ain't nothing but love. It is how it is, and we just come together. It's almost like a family reunion for us. But all right, so you're gonna have PV people looking at this.
That's right.
You're gonna have PV people looking at this. And of course, I'm gonna have the Grambling fam, the Gram fam looking at this. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna take the two perspectives and just kind of talk about what's going on GSU from a GSU perspective and from a PV perspective. Correct. And I got my little stats right here so we can kind of go through the game a little bit and see what's going on. All right, man. First thing I want to talk about is that score.
Oh, hey, Panther Nation, we're hurting on that score, but we'll do an analysis to break down what we saw in the game. It's rough. I'll try to be non-biased and go through it. But it was rough for Panther Nation.
Man, you're going to be biased. Man, you're going to be biased,
I'll try not to be as biased.
You're going to be biased. All right. So for those of you who don't know, the score was 70-54. 70-54.
Ouch.
Did you think it would be like that?
Never in my wildest dreams I thought 50 points would be more than enough to bring us the Panthers into victory. 70 points, unheard of. If you would have told me that, there's no way in the world I believe that any college HBU would be able to put up 70 points.
Yeah, in the HBCU.
And it was 70 points with some time left on the clock. So that was a tough pill to swallow right there.
And it would have been worse than that if Prairie View wasn't able to score at the very last minute. Because, it would have been worse than this. Because Prairie View scored within, I can't remember exactly, but I think it was like less than 2 minutes left in the game or something like that.
Right.
So they kind of got to score at the last few minutes of the game to bring it up to 54. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we can break that down. Definitely, Grambling was in control of the game. Grambling took advantage of the big play abilities. You can count 4, 5, 6 big plays in addition to 2 kickoff returns that were crucial. Grambling really did their homework on the scouting report. Prairie View secondary, when they run the zone, they're definitely vulnerable to the deep ball, and Grambling took full advantage. Much credit to Grambling for going out and they're doing a good job on the scouting report because the secondary had no answer for Grambling's deep ball.
Well, and that's since we're talking about the secondary, I think that's a good point too, because even though Prairie View gave up 70, Grambling still gave up 54 as well.
Yeah, and
that came a lot from a lot of big plays, a lot of plays through the air. And I'm looking through here and I see that Trey Green. Trey Green threw for 414 yards against Grambling, and Grambling has had some problems over these last few games. With the exception of last game when they played Alabama State, they did good with shutting down Alabama State. But all the games before that, Grambling had some problems with the deep ball and everything that was behind the linebackers. Right. So they have some work to do, I feel. On their secondary as well. Right. But man, I will say this. All in all, it was an amazing game.
Very explosive. It's a defensive coordinator's nightmare. You don't want anyone putting up those kind of basketball scores.
But it was a fan's dream.
A fan's dream.
It was a fan's dream.
Fan's dream. And you can look back, going back to Trey Green from Prairie View. Prairie View came in 2-0 in SWAC play.
Yes.
And coming in undefeated in SWAC play, Trey Green has been carrying the team. And he's back from our area. He's a Silsbee boy in Beaumont, Texas, Southeast.
That's right.
So he showed courage and heart and took a tremendous pounding from the blitzes of Grambling's linemen. A couple of times I didn't think he was going to be able to get up from some of the pounding that he took, but he stood in the pocket and he was able to sustain drives. One thing that we noticed when we talked about he was able to methodically take Prairie View down the field and score many times and took advantage of Grambling secondary.
Yeah.
But again, Prairie View had no answer for the deep ball.
No, they did not.
The big playability of Grambling prevailed.
And Grambling had trouble with the deep ball as well. But one thing that I did like about the excitement, to speak to the excitement of the game.
Right.
Prairie View is down by, I don't know exactly how much they were down by at halftime.
Yeah, right before halftime.
Right before halftime.
Yes.
They're down by whatever the score is. Prairie View could have just took a kneel. They could have kneeled the ball, just sat down, kneeled the ball, and took it on in for the halftime, regrouped, came back. But instead of that, Trey Green went for I don't know how many yards it was. I don't have all of my stats, but it was more than 30 yards.
Yeah.
And it was over a 30-yard heave that he threw.
Yeah.
With like 2 seconds left in the game to get you guys down on like
to the goal line.
Yeah, inside the goal line, and I mean inside the 5, and then y'all were able to punch it in from there.
Well, one interesting thing, Grambling had been able to sustain the lead and have a large lead, but it was a double-edged sword. By Grambling passing and going for the big plays, they gave Prairie View an opportunity to get back in the game in the first half. When they came back, it was questionable call on the Grambling side, 19 seconds left, and you got a 2-touchdown lead.
Yeah.
And instead of, kneeling down, they tried to pass. Then Prairie View was able to get the ball back and march it down and score. So a big turn of events on that particular game. Kept Prairie View in the game. Very exciting. The crowd went wild. That was one of the most exciting 2 or 3 minutes that I've seen in years. I mean, it was like watching a video game. It was unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
And for all you Graham fans, I sat in the middle of PV country, and I was repping hard. I was repping real hard.
Yes,
and I know some of the people wanted me to go home, but it was all good, and it was fun, and it was a spirited time, man. I had a great time.
It was fun until that 70 points went on the board.
All right, now let's go back to some more stats.
Okay.
All right, so Jonathan Williams, Grambling's quarterback, Jonathan Williams, he threw 6 TD passes and ran one in. Man, 7 touchdowns. Yeah. That's amazing. 7 touchdowns.
Williams was able to lead the troops, and he was the big play. It was big plays. He showed up big. He showed up big. He was making accurate passes. A couple of those passes were pinpoint passes. The deep ball was there today for Williams. Grambling took full advantage of Prairie View secondary, and Williams had an outstanding game. I'm saying 6 touchdowns passing and 1 running. Just amazing game on Williams. That's a career game for him to get in there. Unbelievable game for him. Don't know the yardage.
Big players make big plays at the right time.
Right.
All right, so we'll look at Jonathan Williams. Like I said, his stats, I think I talked about it before, 429 yards passing. And he also ran a touchdown in. So that was a lot of production. And then we come over to Trey Green. And Trey Green, he didn't have a bad game.
No.
I mean, 54 points on the board. He threw for more yards than Jonathan Williams did. Yeah. Prairie View had more yards, more total yards, and time of possession than Grambling.
And that's what we were telling you. That's what we're talking about. It was a weird game. Prairie View made systemic drives. They moved the ball. They were able to control the ball oftentimes. And you got the feeling they never were out of the game. Grambling was scoring at will, but Prairie View always hung around. And then Grambling was eventually able to pull away. But again, Trey Green, any other time you would take 4 TD passes, 414 yards passing.
Wow.
But unfortunately, Grambling, well, good for Grambling fans.
Yeah, good for Grambling
fans. That Williams was able to outduel him. But the big play was there. You can count 5 big plays that were the difference in the game. Those 4 touchdowns, the first series, opening drive for Grambling, that deep bomb, the kickoff return, both kickoff returns. They were pinpoint key moments in that game that just broke the game open for Grambling.
Yeah, it was amazing. And speaking back to those lopsided scores, how it seems like the lopsided stats to see to show you how crazy it was. All right, for example, Grambling had we're talking about total yards, total offensive yards. Grambling had 556. Prairie View had 580.
That's right.
So they won in that stat, They won in that stat. And what else did we have?
Let's look at turnovers.
Look at this. Rushing. Prairie View rushed for 164 yards to Grambling's 127. Yeah. So that's another battle that they won. And
well, Prairie View has Jonte Hebert. He's a preseason All-American tailback, and they utilize him all over the field. He got some things running today, but again, when you have a good offensive drive and you're playing good football, but your defense gives up those big plays, it's hard for you to win. It's hard for you to win.
Yeah. Right? Another thing I wanted to talk about was the possession.
Right.
Prairie View had the ball for 35 minutes, a little over 35 minutes, and Grambling had the ball a little over 24 minutes.
Yeah.
Man, that's over 10 minutes, man. That's another major stat that says you should have won that game.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You look at the stats and you look at the scoreboard. It's like you were looking at two different games. Yeah. We're seeing that, and we know the stats, and we're looking at them, and you're like, there's no way that Grambling should have won a game giving up that kind of yardage and that possession and all that. But let's look at the turnovers. Look at the turnovers.
The turnovers were equal.
Yeah.
Grambling had 2, PV had 2.
Right.
First downs. That's another stat.
Yeah.
PV had 32 first downs.
And Grambling had
24 first downs.
And again, all statistics say a win for the Panthers, but what counts is on the scoreboard.
The big stat. The big stat is
the scoreboard is what counts.
Well, another thing that one of the things, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about this. That one of the things that changed that you guys led in all of those stats. But another thing that these stats don't show is this Martez Carter for Grambling.
Yeah. He's a game changer.
Martez Carter, he ran back 2 kick returns for touchdowns. So I don't care who you are. And he also ran a touchdown during normal field play.
He's a big time player.
But 2 touchdowns from special teams play, and that right there, and that all, when you think about it, without those 2, we got a tie ball game almost, or it's a closer game.
Well, you look at that, and it could easily, just like it was 70-54 with those kind of stats, it could have been 54-34 Prairie View up when you're looking at those kind of stats. But again, he's the difference maker. Martez is the difference maker. Tremendous speed guy. He can hit that lane, and I'm still, Panther fans, we still can't understand why we kicked the ball to the guy. He kicked it out of the end zone.
Especially after the first
one, and he shows blazing speed. And that shows the things that the Panthers have to work on. We got to work on special teams, and you got to work on your pass coverage. Just giving up too much on the big play.
Man, it was a heck of a game, and I think that it was great for the Classic, who was the State Fair Classic, in which they were celebrating their 90th anniversary. But it was also the 30th year. That was exactly the 30th year that Grambling and Prairie View have been playing in that Classic, because even though the Classic started 90 years ago, Grambling didn't enter the Classic until 1985, 30 years ago. And so, there's more than, you have the Classic itself, but you also have Grambling and Prairie View showing up 30 years for that Classic. Well, and what a game for you celebrating 2 anniversaries. Yeah. What a game.
What a game. The pageantry. It was an electric atmosphere. The State Fair going on. PV Nation was there. Grambling Nation was there. Hey, it was two big fan bases going there to see an exciting game.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of friends, a lot of alumni in the city of Dallas. Dallas has been a great host for us to come down, and you guys have been great hosts.
And especially with our cousin Kim. Our cousin Kim has the gala. Could you kind of speak on that just for a second or two?
This is 20th anniversary of the gala, Dallas Alumni Chapter. They have a
Dallas PV
Alumni Chapter. They have we have a alumni scholarship gala where we give to athletics, and we are able to raise with the PV Foundation, and we'll have a new stadium next year, 2016, from the contributions of Dallas alumni. People all over the country have been donating, corporate sponsors, so everyone is getting on the bandwagon and pushing. The students took the initiative and passed the referendum, so everyone is jumping on board to build a new stadium at Prairie View, and the stadium's going to be state-of-the-art facility, 15,000 seat stadium, which expands to 30,000. Top-notch weight facility and everything. They keep us up there, and we need that so we can come back and defeat those Grambling Tigers next year.
And you mentioned the Dallas chapter of the PV alumni, but all the PV alumni, all the chapters contributed to make that happen.
We're contributed, and the students on campus. They passed the student government passed a referendum where they raised up the tuition, where they're able to contribute more to the stadium. Alumni, myself, all over the country, we're giving back. Also, but the foundation, Prairie View, the Dallas chapter has taught others how to give and fundraise, and they do a great job. We have a tuxedo affair every year downtown Dallas, and it's a great site. So we welcome all alumni to come out, and we'll even invite you, sir, to come
All right, and the last thing we're going to talk about, who won the Battle of the Bands?
Well, hey, I must admit now, I am biased, but Grambling had a great performance. So it's a draw. It's a draw. I have to give Prairie View.
You got to give Prairie View.
I got to give Prairie View. But Grambling put on a good halftime show, I must admit.
Okay.
Grambling put on a great halftime show, but that clarity of the marching storm of Prairie View, I think, edged them out.
Well, we sat on the Prairie View side.
So, is that what it is?
So the horns, the horns were facing us.
I heard the clarity coming over. I'm just saying, I heard the clarity.
Grambling had the clarity, but they were facing the Grambling side.
Oh, okay. I just thought the volume on Prairie View was much louder, and the clarity was there.
Well,
the performance. So
I'm going to say it was close, but I would have to give the edge to Grambling.
Okay, so we're going to agree to disagree on that.
Well, we can agree to disagree, but it's my show, so
Well, thank you, sir, for allowing me on your show. GFN, thank you for letting me on here. Panther Nation, I haven't sold out. I still love you. I'm a Panther to the day I die. I bleed purple and gold. But, hey, I love this guy, and y'all got us.
Yeah,
congratulations, sir.
We got you.
You got us this year. And we have a lot of work to do.
And we also have a little thing that we do where I may show that segment or not, but we have a part to where the loser has to buy the winner a nice cold beverage plus, well, I'll say a nice cold beverage, 6 nice cold beverages.
Yes.
Plus, the loser has to buy the T-shirt of the winning team. So and wear it. So he bought a Grambling T-shirt and he wore it and he came through with the beverages. So
it didn't fit,
and so he held up to his word. So
I'm a man of my word, and we've been doing this how long? 10, 15 years.
It's been a solid 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah,
and 3 years in a row. You've been having to do that in the last 2 years. Grambling, y'all kind of took us out. So we got to get back to our winning ways.
Well, brother, man, I love you.
Love you, brother.
And I hate the fact that we had to take it to y'all like that. But it's gonna be we do it every year, right?
Yeah, we do it every year. Hey, I want to give a shout out to the Grambling Alumni Chapter, Houston chapter.
Okay.
They've been checking out GFN. I told them all about it.
All right.
2-3 weeks ago, I told them, I love My brother love my show, love his show. Too bad it's not for Prairie View. A great institution like Prairie View.
We may expand.
But you may expand.
GFN may expand to SWAC FN. Who knows?
May do
Who knows?
it. We may
Who knows?
do it. We may
Maybe
do it.
one day.
May do
But man, it's been great. We had a great time.
Great time.
And
Good fun.
good camaraderie. And hey, sorry we had to do that to you.
PV Nation, we'll be back. We'll be on GFN next year talking.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Once again, I'm Dameon Runnels.
Tony Runnels.
This is my brother Tony Runnels. And thanks for watching this special segment of GFN. Please put in your comments below. This is going to be on YouTube.
Tell someone.
And tell somebody about it and just share it with your friends. So, once again, I'm Dameon Runnels. This is Tony Runnels, and thank you guys for watching. Peace.